Coach, that was a wild one. I mean, your season is surviving on a walk-off walk. How are you feeling right now?
On the scale of walk-off excitement, a walk is one of the lowest. But it doesn't change the fact that that was a really good win for us. And Victor Scott's at bat there is just a culmination of all of our at bats over the course of the whole night. Our hitters stood in there pretty well against Kansas's best arms, and those guys have had some success this year. So that was a really good night for us offensively.
Cody Nesper.
Hey, Coach. With Victor up there, did you think about putting on any sort of squeeze play or anything?
No, we weren't going to end the game with that. We swung it well all night and had a bunch of hits, and we're driving some balls into the gaps and getting our swings off. So I didn't even consider a bunt there. Victor was getting ready to win the game a multitude of different ways in my mind, I thought.
Back to Sam.
Just there were a lot of wacky plays in that one that made consequential, decisions. But at the same time, there were a lot of consequential plays that, like Braden Berry coming in as a pinch runner and making that heads-up play to go home. I mean, what was the difference, do you think, in this game? Was it execution? Was it making that heads-up play? What do you think made the difference?
I think we just outslugged them. They stood in there and swung the bats pretty well. We couldn't get their shortstop out at all, so we decided just let him hit a single and then try and pick him off first base, and that seemed to work better than actually pitching to him. But, they slugged it. We slugged it. The longer that game went on, there wasn't going to be many zeros left. If that went extra innings, people were just going to keep scoring and keep scoring. So it's hard to point to one play, but, we just up and down the lineup. We had the number 1 and 2 hitters each had 2 hits, and so did the number 8 and 9 hitters each had 2 hits. So that was a pretty good effort throughout the whole lineup.
Cody, go ahead.
So going back in the ninth a little bit, after Paul got on, he had already been thrown out earlier. What went into the decision to, send him again?
I just kind of like the matchup. Paul can quietly and unexpectedly steal some bases if the pitcher's not paying attention to him. And I thought it was going to be a breaking ball count. They were going to throw Blasick a breaking ball, and Paul got a really good jump. The slide wasn't really a thing of beauty, but it turned out it didn't matter because they walked Blasick, but they may have pitched them differently if Paul was still on first. So Paul's athletic enough to steal bases if you don't pay attention to him.
Sam, go ahead.
Coach, you were heading into this one, you're in a delicate pitching situation. If you win, then you got to play pretty much the entire week on short arms. Then you got to kind of take Carlson out pretty early. What was kind of going through your mind when you took him out, put Ben on, and how careful were you with all your decisions?
That's not ideal to use 4 pitchers in the play-in game. That doesn't really set you up very well for later in the week. But we had to try and win the game no matter what. It's you can set your pitching up for the rest of the week all you want, but if you lose tonight, then you got a bunch of fresh pitchers sitting on an airplane. So we had to do what we had to do to win the game, and they had the lineup stacked with lefties, and it was a pretty good matchup for Hampton. And he just went out there and threw his heart out there and just pitched as long as he could until he ran out of gas. And then we threw it to the guys who have been reliable for us.
Back to Cody.
Keeping with Ben, just what does it say about him, as a true freshman in that spot to be able to give you, as many innings as he did and control the damage as much as he did?
Yeah, that's 2 true freshmen going out there on a pretty big stage, the biggest one they've ever pitched in. And they both did fine. They went, and that's great experience for all of them. And that'll help them when they pitch in this tournament in the future, and they'll learn from everything they've done. And they went out there and just gave it everything they had and tried as hard as they could, and got us to the I don't know, the 6th or 7th inning, and it was still a game. So to get freshmen to give you an opportunity to win on a stage like this, you can't ask for more than that.
Sam.
So with that being said, you really didn't need to use that many arms today. You kind of got lucky. It seemed like from the outside. So how are you feeling about your arms heading into tomorrow?
Well, yeah, we got Jackson Wolf going, and Jackson, he's capable of going out there and throwing 130 pitches. He's done that before. So if he's pitching well and is doing his thing, then he's got a chance. This would be a really big game for him to go deep into the game, because all the relievers that threw today, if they get a day of rest tomorrow, then they'll be ready to go again on Thursday. So it would be really nice when you get in a tournament situation. Complete games and long outings are worth their weight in gold. So it'd be really nice for Jackson to go out there and throw as many pitches as he can and give us a chance to win it late.
And we'll finish up with Cody. Go ahead.
So when you've talked about Victor in the past, you've kind of said that he has the potential to be a star here. An at-bat like that in that situation, is that kind of, does that just show his potential, and is that kind of the first step for him?
Yeah, he made an adjustment with his swing about 3 weeks ago, and I told him the day after he made the adjustment, I said this could be the turning point in his college career. And he had a great at bat to end it, but he hit 2 line drives on the left side of the field, one to the third baseman, made a tremendous play, and a line drive at the left fielder earlier in the game. So he's, in the last 3 or 4 weeks, Victor's starting to show that he's getting ready to turn into the player that we think he can be in the next couple of years.